Welcome to the SEGA Lounge, where we celebrate our love for all things SEGA, including the games, the music, and the community. I'm your host, KC. Join me as I talk to different guests and learn more about their projects and passion for SEGA. Hello there, loungers. Welcome to the SEGA Lounge. This is episode 253. This is the podcast that is all about SEGA in all of its forms, the music, the games, the community, and all things in between. My name's KC, and as per usual, I am not alone. I am joined by amazing people. Who are they? Well, that's the question you shouldn't be asking, because who else could
it's
they
not
be?
these two, and then
It's
switch to other people.
Yeah, it's not this two. Gotcha. No, it is. So it's Skill Jim. Hello. Welcome.
Hello. You are not alone.
I am not alone. No.
I am here with you.
Thank you for joining me.
I was thinking about the same thing.
Yeah.
One more last fist bump. No. And no, the other way
Ah,
around. Never. Okay.
Right.
We'll try it again later. Oh, that was nice. Yeah. And also Lime Reversed. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for our usual live show of April. Sorry, what is time? We're here to round up the news as we usually say, and we're going to cover everything or most stuff that happened in the world of SEGA in the past few weeks. However, I want to welcome everyone who's listening live, because we're doing it live. So hello to Twitch peeps. Lewis says hello. Lewis from the Dreamcast Junkyard. Hello.
Hello, Louis.
Hello. And also welcome
Hello.
into people who are listening in on RadioSEGA, our faithful listeners over at radiosega.net. We appreciate you. And remember, we're going to comment on the news so you can too. And if you have anything to say, either on the Twitch chat or Discord, RadioSEGA's Discord channel, feel free to. And I'm going to keep an eye on those comments, and we can read them out loud as well during the show. So let's get into it, right, guys? I want to start by asking a question that I usually don't. Before we get into it properly, I want to ask, what have you guys been playing? I don't think we've talked about like proper games in a while. We talk about game news, we celebrate game series, but what have you guys been playing? If anything, right? Because we're busy people. So, Lime, let's start with you. What non-SEGA game have you been playing?
My time has very much been focusing on Portal, actually.
Nice.
There's a mod for Portal 2 that's called Portal Reloaded, where in addition to, like, the game, like, you have a portals and you shoot a portal in one place, and shoot another portal in another place. You go through one, you come out the other, and then you solve puzzles that way. Now there's a third portal, the time portal, that transports you to 20 years ahead. And that opens for more things. For example, maybe in the future, the glass that you couldn't get through is now broken. And so now you can get that cube and solve the puzzle
in the past.
the future instead.
Oh.
Instead of the past, for example. It really trips with your brain. For example, like, say that you have a pedestal that rises up if a button is pressed. No, actually, if a button is unpressed, I guess.
Okay.
So let's see if I can try to make this clear. So you get a portal in the present. And so you put you put it somewhere, and then you go to the future, and then you pick that same cube from the future, and then bring it to the present. And so now you put it somewhere, and Oh gosh, I don't think I'm gonna
Unlock
bring this
something
home
that you couldn't
clearly.
before?
I don't think I can bring this home clearly, but like
But I think I see where you're going with this. So
it
you could
kind
have
of
accessed
ends.
something, but then you go to the
Yeah,
future, you unlock it, and you
yeah,
go back.
yeah.
Right?
So now we have two cubes in the same time, for
Oh,
example. So it's the same cube. It's just that one of the cubes is from
oh,
the future. So now you have two cubes to play around with, and if you move the present cube, then the future cube is affected as well
oh. Okay.
Right. It's like
because
Nice.
it's
portal
the
quantum
future.
leap.
Yeah, because it's the future
You
cube.
changed the past,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
of
So
course.
if you put the future cube on a button and then move the present cube, then that removes the future cube
From the
from the
button,
button,
of
and
course.
so then you can reach your
I've
goal
lost sound.
using those things. So it's like it's very very trippy having to in addition to where you are and where to shoot portals, keeping track of cause and effect. Like if I move this cube, it's gonna affect that cube, but
Mhm.
not the other way around.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's amazing. And so I guess where I wanted to get here, sorry, long answer,
You're
but
playing Portal 2 Reloaded. That's the
I haven't.
longest. Oh, okay.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Okay.
I've been learning how to build my own maps for that.
Oh, I see.
So I've been learning the level editing tool Hammer,
Okay.
and so now I can do my own puzzles with that.
Mhm.
And yeah, so like several full days has gone to learning it and building that, and it's been so much fun because I'm in love with that concept. So I really needed to learn that. Sorry, the answer got a lot more convoluted and longer than I thought, but yeah, I hope that I got
Okay.
there in the end.
Okay. Okay. It's okay because Skill Jim is having technical issues, so it's good. I was also
Yeah, what's
hoping he
happening
could
over
have
there?
sorted those out beforehand. But so then I'll go next with my answer. I've been playing a lot of retro games and unlocking retro achievements. It's something that I've been doing for the past like month or month and a half, and I've been on a retro achievement binge lately. Going back to games, I think I've explained this quite a few times already on the show, but I used to play retro games. So obviously, this is through emulation. Welcome back, Jim. And I
Sorry.
used to play the games on like retro handhelds with save states enabled and things like that, like rewinds and stuff like that. But if you do it like that and you unlock your retro achievements like that, they are considered to be unlocked in softcore mode instead of hardcore mode. And so if you really want to say that you've beaten a game or mastered the game or unlocked achievements, you really need to do it in hardcore mode, which is like the old school way. So, for example, if you're
Interesting.
playing like Sonic 1, you can't play a couple of zones and then stop the game, quit out of the game, and load your save state and continue the next day. You have to do it in one sitting. And so I've been doing that with games that I feel like comfortable with, and re-unlocking retro achievements, which has been fun, and rediscovering some games as well, or discovering new ones as well. I definitely recommend retro achievements to everyone who enjoys playing retro games. So that's what I've been doing. And now that you're back, James, what have you been playing, if anything?
Yeah, sorry about that. I've ended up missing the cliffhanger to Lime's portal
No,
story.
he hasn't been playing the game. He has been learning how to design his own puzzles. That was
Okay.
There
the
we go.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, I just needed. I just felt that I needed to explain how the
To
game
explain.
works first
Yeah.
before I got there.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll keep it short then. So I've been playing a non-Sega game. I've been playing Oblivion Remastered,
Mm.
which shadow dropped like yesterday, was it, or the day before? probably spent more time downloading it than playing it. It took like 2.5 hours to install, but
Oh my god.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's a big game, but it's fantastic so far.
Mhm.
Everything I would expect it to be, I guess. It's Oblivion, but with a fresh coat of paint. Very fun. Emperor Urian, whatever his name is, has died, and he sent me on a quest to find his long lost son that no one knows is his son. And I've just met up with Joffrey. So if anyone knows Oblivion, that's basically the introduction to the game.
Okay.
And then you sort of set on your journey. You can explore caves, ruins, these dungeons, and kill imps and wolves, rats. It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I've heard good things about Oblivion. I've considered getting into it. Yeah. Oh, Lewis says my granddad's favorite game.
It's awesome. Yeah,
There you go.
I got into the series with Morrowind on the original Xbox, and kind of coming off of Shenmue 1 and 2, it was like the next mind-blowing open world game for me. Fell in love with Morrowind, and then obviously played Oblivion, Skyrim, and rewind time like Lime was doing, playing a game from the past in the future, Oblivion again. So
Okay. Okay. No companion cubes though. In Oblivion. Okay.
What? Aw.
No. So that's not a limey game. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely. If there's no companion cube, then no, it's
No.
deal
No
breaker for me.
turrets.
Yeah.
No GLaDOS.
No.
No.
Mm.
same old.
I forgot that I'm also playing Dave the Diver. So
Okay,
it was
like
on
the Yakuza
sale.
DLC, was there, or something?
I
like that?
downloaded that. I got it with the DLC. I haven't gotten to a point where I can use the DLC, I guess. I think. I haven't felt the need to do it either because I'm enjoying the main game very much. It's definitely a KC game. You basically you explore an area. I think they call it the Great Hole or the Big Hole or whatever. It's like an underwater area with fish and other sea creatures and other mysteries that you have to unlock as you play through the game. And you do that during the day, and at night, of course, you run a sushi restaurant.
Cool show.
As you do.
We saw some gameplay of this, didn't we? And it looked like very much like a load of mini games. But is there a main game?
The running the sushi restaurant part, yes. It's a little bit like some, I wouldn't call them mini games, but like micro-ish games. But the diving part is just like regular diving, like Echo the Dolphin style gameplay, perhaps. But you have guns and you can kill fish and sharks and
Just like Echo.
Echo with guns. Echo with guns. So imagine like a chubby dolphin, because Dave is definitely a chubby man with guns.
So it's the Shadow the Hedgehog of the dolphin.
Yeah, Shadow the Dolphin.
Yeah,
the game too.
Very good.
Remastered. Yeah. So I thought I always thought I would love Dave the Diver. I don't know why it took me so long to get the game, but it was on sale at the same time as the DLC launched like a couple of weeks ago. I decided to pick it up. I'll try to experience the DLC and get back to you next month, perhaps. Tell you what my thoughts are on that. Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. So that's it for this first part. This was something new. Thank you for sharing, guys. Let's get on with the news. News roundup for April 2025. Before we get into the stuff that I had on the document, I wanted to mention a couple of things that are very important. And I actually wrote community mentions. I have a couple of like birthday, anniversary wishes. One of them is we have the big man himself here, Lewis from the Dreamcast Junkyard. Their their podcast turned 10. So happy 10th anniversary. That's amazing. Well done.
Congrats.
I believe the website turns 20 later this year, which will be amazing, and we'll definitely talk about that as those celebrations unfold. But 10 years of doing a podcast, take it from me, it's no small feat. So congratulations, guys. Yeah, very entertaining podcast. Yeah, one of my favorites, definitely. And another mention to our good friends, the SEGA guys, who also have been doing their podcast for 5 years now. So they started in 2020, and they used to call it the SEGA guys Retro Pod. I think this just like their podcast now. They don't call it the Retro Pod anymore because they're more of a YouTube channel now. But there's the podcast as well, and it turned 5, I believe, this or last week. So happy 5-year anniversary to the SEGA guys as well.
Congrats.
And if
crazy how time flies.
Yeah. If people are like listening to this and looking for other cool SEGA related podcasts, there's your 2 recommendations. There you go. Yeah, go listen to those. Okay, and that's out of the way. Let's move on to less fun stuff, perhaps, because the first bit of news we have here is that, oh my God, they killed it. SEGA Shop Europe is dead. I mean, closed. I don't know, but when I saw this, when I opened the document before we started the show, all I could think of was that that picture of Sonic dead from the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right.
And all I could think was that. So yeah. So if you go to the SEGA Shop Europe website, you'll see this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just make you wonder though, don't it? Like it looks, obviously it sounds like it's dead, but is it just the Numbskull partnership, do you reckon? And they're actually building up towards like point 2 on the docket.
Mm-hmm.
What that might become merchandise wise, perhaps.
Yeah. That's the big question, right? So for people who weren't aware, the SEGA Shop in Europe was a partnership with Numbskull Designs. I think it is. Numbskull something. I think it's Numbskull Designs. They have other shops like Just Geek, and I do believe they have other partnerships with other video game companies and stuff. But they ran the European version of the SEGA Shop, which, without warning, without any kind of sign, one day I just casually was browsing the web, went to the SEGA Shop website, and I noticed it was closed. So they say our online store is now closed, but we're still here to help with any remaining customer service queries. Below are answers to common questions regarding orders, returns, and support. So they're probably just fulfilling any outstanding orders and stuff. If people have store credit, unfortunately, they can't redeem that anymore, so they have to reach out. If that's the case, if you got any like sort of gift card or whatever, just go to the SEGA Shop website and try to figure it out with them by email. They do say at the bottom, this shop will be powered by Shopify.
Will be powered.
Will be.
Interesting. Okay.
So it seems like they are truly working on something new when they say they'll be back soon. It wasn't. I don't think this was always here. I can't remember, but I don't think this was here a few weeks ago, right?
But always. What do you mean always here?
Always, like when we first figured out that they closed the shop. I don't think I actually have.
Like, as far as I remember,
of that.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I saw it like this. If I'm not misremembering, because I remember when I found out later that was still going on, I was very surprised because I thought that like a message like this under construction will be back soon. I thought it would be a few days. It was a lot longer than that.
So I'm almost certain it wasn't. This wasn't. When I first saw it, it didn't have this picture here and this message.
No, agreed.
It was just the post-closure FAQs.
FAQs, yeah, you're right. I had kind of noticed they'd been selling less merchandise on the website. Because I browsed from time to time to see if there's like any deals on some of the Shenmue stuff, and I was seeing like that it was very limited actually. If you go through some of the categories, like the Sega Dreamcast one, for example, which has normally got 20 to 30 items, it was like, I don't know, like the water bottle, that was it, or a Sonic plush or something. It was like very limited for what they were actually selling. So I was saying to Matt that I feel like Sega Shop's dead because they haven't announced any merchandise for ages, and what they do have is very limited. And you found that it's actually official now.
Yeah. I wonder if it's related to the next bit of news that we have here. But Lewis says something that is, I feel the same way. Hope this doesn't mean we're heading into a load of limited run junk. I mean, yeah, limited run games, and that has a lot of merch available. We'll talk about that later on as well. But I don't think it is. That's the future. I think the future is a redesign of the Sega shop to tie in with. Maybe we should go with that next bit of news to tie in with the Sega account. Okay, so last month I think we covered this. There's now a Sega account that you can create, and interestingly enough, Sega actually sent out a survey for, I believe, not just for people who have signed up for an account, but probably for people who have like they're subscribed to the Sega newsletter. I assume at least, right? And so you get this email asking you to take part in an account survey to help launch Sega Accounts. They call it Sega Accounts, plural now. A new account system to bring together players and their progress across all Sega titles. So they want to ask you for some feedback that will be used to help inform the future of the Sega Accounts experience. Have you guys taken part in this?
Yeah. Is that going to be that branding?
Sorry? Like that?
I was saying, do you reckon that's going to be the branding? Sega Accounts doesn't really have a great ring to it, does it? Compared to some of the other services.
Maybe they'll call it something else, but yeah. I think it's as good as anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear. Why call it something else?
That's true.
I mean, it's not. I'm not really that excited about this, to be honest. Especially since we already have so many like accounts for other video game companies and stuff. So
yeah.
But I guess they need our data. So
yeah,
I suppose it depends what to do with it.
Yeah, indeed. It doesn't really feel like it's an account that would actually be useful for me, but rather an excuse to send me spam, like any other company does. Like they really gonna have to sell me on it being like an actual benefit from me. If it was something like Sonic Racing Cross Worlds network test that you get a little early access by signing in, sign me up. That I will do that for.
I do believe they mentioned that as one of the things. So they actually give you. We're not going to show the whole survey, but the gist of this is they want you to rank the things that you value the most in one of these account systems. So they ask you if you've ever created a Sega account of some sort, like a 2-point campus one, or a 2-point, I guess, one, or maybe I think a Football Manager one, or something like that. They ask you if you've ever created an account for, like, if you have a Nintendo account, a PlayStation account, Ubisoft account, or something. And then they ask you to tell them which of these things you value the most in having one of those accounts, like tracking in-game achievements or statistics, connecting or playing with friends, cross-saving, which is interesting, bug reporting, display of news, announcements for the titles you play, guides or tips and tricks for gameplay, stuff like that. So they ask you to tell them what you value the most, and then I think at some point they ask you to rank the options that you selected in order of preference, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what you have in front of you right now.
No, this is below is a list of features. They ask you which ones. Oh, yeah, that's true. This is you move them around. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
But I think there's more than one question related to this.
Yeah.
I think you.
Yeah, there is. Like one, I think it's earlier. Like it asks you like what you use at all, and then it asks you to rank them, I think.
And here's the one that you were mentioning: opportunities for early access to new content. Yep. So that could be one, right? Is there anything here that interests you, James?
What do you reckon the gift cards means then? Do you reckon that could be related to the Sega shop? Maybe.
The
exclusive
what
merchandise.
You're always mentioning, like the Sega coins system, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sega coin system. I'd love stuff like exclusive merchandise. Kind of, not that I'm a Nintendo fan, but when you actually look at their account system and you're collecting their points, and then you look at their store, they've got some pretty cool physical merchandise. I had enough points to buy something off there the other week, actually, and I'm a massive Sega fanboy, so I nothing resonates with me from Nintendo at all, apart from Kirby. So I ended up picking up a Kirby mouse map, interestingly. So it's like in the shape of a Kirby, and it's just a bit of fun, but it's nice that you get those things sent to you for free by playing the game. So if Sega have got a similar sort of thing going where we're going to play Sega games anyway, so it's just an added benefit to us. But as we play them, and then it maybe logs to your account, oh, you purchased Yakuza 8 Infinite Wealth, and then it gives you like 500 Sega coins. And then the next game you play, it keeps building up a thing, and then you look on the exclusive merchandise store, perhaps, and there might be like a Shenmue mirror that costs 2,000 Sega coins, and it's like, oh god, I can get that sent to me for free. That would be the dream scenario, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Lewis says Shenmue Online 2K25.
I'd be down. I'd be down.
Yeah. If you want to connect with friends, play with friends online, Shenmue Online 2K25. Yeah, that's it. If enough people sign up for a SEGA account, Accounts, it's a SEGA Accounts.
Counts. Yeah, with an S.
Right? With an S. Maybe we'll get Shenmue Online 2K25. Going back to what we were talking about, the Sega shop, Lewis also says, it'd be weird to see them bin it off. So many American Sega fans were jealous of the European store merch. So it can be that they are actually, the deal with Numskull is done, right? It's over and they're doing their own thing. Or it could be that they're rebranding to tie the Sega Accounts with the Sega shop and make it more of like an international thing instead of, because I actually don't know if the American Sega shop is still open. That's running. Actually a good point.
Pick up on what you made there, Casey, about like the deal with Numskull. It'd be interesting to find out when the Sega shop first opened, and maybe it's like to the day, like a 5-year period or something's elapsed. Maybe they just made a 5-year deal for them to.
It probably is.
Merch, maybe?
It probably is, because I think I had the community manager for the Sega shop on the show in 2020, I believe, and that was shortly after the shop opened, I believe. So you might have a point there. Yeah, the American one is still open. Yeah, the American
that one is in-house Sega and tablet.
In-house Sega, I believe so. Yeah. They have some cool stuff as well. I love this Coco pin.
See, it does look cool. It's probably one of those things of FOMO. We can't get it, so it's like, we want their stuff. Yep. So the Americans are looking at our stuff and they're like, they want that stuff because they can't get it. And I'm looking at that stuff thinking, I want that Jet Set Radio shirt.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see what happens in the future, I guess. But if you are interested in shaping the future of Sega Accounts. Be sure to to complete that survey. Take that survey that they're sending out to people who sign up to this, or who sign up to the newsletter. I guess I have no idea if they're sending it out to everyone. But yeah. Okay, so that's all we've got about this. Let's move on to more interesting stuff. And by more interesting stuff, Shenmue stuff. Wow, we have a lot of Shenmue. Not a lot. I only have 2 bits of news, but they're very big and interesting. So first of all, James, would you like to tell us what the most influential video game of all time is?
Why is James getting that question?
Well, do you know the answer,
The
Lion?
person closest to me.
What's the answer then, Lion? Do you know what it is?
The
Most
answer
influential
is
video game of all time.
Shenmue.
Wow.
Oh, where's my finger?
Oh, okay. Wait. Let's. Yeah. There we go. Shenmue.
This charming little game here, Shenmue.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
BAFTA named Shenmue the most influential video game of all time after a popular vote.
And rightly so.
Yeah. So, James, thoughts?
Ecstatic, to be honest, Casey. Wasn't expecting to win. It's just sort of woke up that morning and seen this news, and it was like, didn't feel real, because it's it's little old Shenmue against every game in the world, essentially.
And some big games that are more popular these days, right?
Well, exactly. Recency bias, you can see on the actual list there with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was like 3rd or something. So you can see like there's been other groups that have sort of rallied behind voting for their favorite game for the BAFTAs or whatever. And I just think Shenmue is an influential game that when people think about writing this, it, perhaps not even, obviously Shenmue fans have voted, but even probably, regular people that we haven't said go vote for Shenmue have voted for Shenmue because it can potentially be that influential game that deserves, a ranking on this list. And to come number 1 is just massive, really, for the series. Hopefully, there's been people that have like gone through this list and seen that Shenmue's won, and then they've gone off and tried to play it themselves, downloaded it. It's very cheap, isn't it, really, on Steam. 1 and 2 you can download and play today very, very easily. Or, on your PS5 you can bang the disc in. Xbox, the only system you can't play it on, unfortunately, is the Switch for some reason, but hopefully that might be something that's going to come with Switch 2 potentially. But it's just be amazing to get as many people into Shenmue, and hopefully this can sort of steamroll into something good, because I think people have to take notice when a game like this, even if it's like a fan vote, a community vote that's made it come out at number 1, Sega acknowledged it on Twitter. So
Sure.
Again, Shenmue's sort of in their thoughts again. Even the Sega Japan account acknowledged it, which is sort of where the discrepancy sort of goes between Europe and Japan with Shenmue. Like, the Japanese Sega of Japan seem to not be too fond of Shenmue for some particular reason. But I mean, it can only be
they
good things,
do
right?
tend to promote Shenmue stuff much more than the Western accounts, though.
I do get that. But
even the release of 1 and 2 HD was sort of a big thing over there, whereas here I didn't feel it as much.
It was, but it was a Sega Europe endeavor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shenmue 1 and 2 with D3T. So it was sort of announced on, was it Sega Fest 2018 or whatever it was, or even earlier. So yeah, I mean, it just feels that way to us, that Sega Japan always kind of poo-poo Shenmue. Perhaps maybe they're getting into it a bit more now, because obviously they signed off on the anime as well. But yeah, just a massive win for the Shenmue community, and like I say, rightfully so. It's the game. I sort of described it as, you've got retro games here, and you've got today's modern world games here, and Shenmue is like right in the sort of center that sort of propelled the movement from that retro type of game into this modern open world epics, AAA games. Shenmue is kind of like focal point of that. I feel like, and some of the things that they were able to achieve in Shenmue, especially like the graphics, was like the major thing at the time. Like breathtaking graphics, popularized QTEs that a lot of games use these days. Just so much, like the change in the weather, time, routines, character routines, games within games with the arcade. It's
for sure. So many things that are now standard.
It was kind of the blueprint for those sort of games. So I think it deserves to at least be in the top 10, but number one is just madness.
I have no idea how you get a 2 or 3 month-year-old game at number 7.
See, that doesn't make sense.
What was the what did this influence? What other games did this influence? But okay.
I didn't know it was that young.
That's, like this is a 2025 game. So
yeah, how many games could it have influenced? Wow,
right?
Yeah.
That's like recency biased.
Yeah.
I was a little like I did wonder because like I could some of these were very clear like Zelda Ocarina of Time. It even says here it had C targeting and that what was adopted by future games. I could understand that, but I remember reacting to Minecraft because like I recognize that it's very special. Is a huge game. But I just couldn't think about games that were like that came after, that reminded me that I could feel the influences from. So I guess I was a little confused about what future games that had influenced. But then I got some examples, and I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe Mario Maker was influenced by that as well.
Be.
Like you use blocks and you build, and I don't know. Maybe
I thought of Roblox when you asked that question. In a way, although it's
which I haven't played, which would explain why I couldn't think of
Roblox. Is more of like a bit of a game maker thing, right? It's like games within a game and stuff, right?
Maybe Fortnite. There's like a building thing in Fortnite.
Maybe there was Dragon Quest Builders, which was basically Minecraft, like. And I played and enjoyed it.
Like the Lego games? Was the Lego games before Minecraft? I don't know.
But the Lego games, you don't really build, right? You play.
It's not actually.
You just play Star Wars.
Yeah,
play
it's less a building
play.
game and more like a pop culture reference game.
Yeah, in that sense, I'm surprised there hasn't been like a Lego game, Minecraft, that's just build whatever you want.
Yeah, wow. The fact that Lego wasn't first with this kind of game, would be a perfect fit
I think Tetris, for example, is very low. I think it should have been higher. I actually don't think this is a bad list. If you consider
I don't think it's a bad list.
I don't think it's a bad list. It's obviously there's always some sort of bias. Even for Shenmue, obviously, but I can understand. I can understand games like Mario 64, even Minecraft in a way. It probably influenced game developers more than we think on how big it is and how popular it is. It's still one of the biggest games in the world, and it's how many years old at this point? I have no idea, but it's been around forever. Ocarina of Time, Half-Life, I think, okay. Super Mario Brothers, okay. Doom. I get all of these. I am really, really happy to see Shenmue as number 1, but obviously this is subjective. Of course, all of these votes and all of these lists are always subjective. But I'm with you, James. If it made it to the top 10, I'd be happy. Number 1, ecstatic about it. Yeah.
I am a little surprised that there's no Sonic reference in here at all. Like I feel like that should have been influential, right?
I believe so as well. Yeah, at least in the top 20 or whatever. Yeah. Lewis says the gaming news websites were so annoying about this news. Not just the gaming news websites, even the mainstream news shows that mention this. Like the most influential game of all time is a game you've never heard of.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like if it's influential, then you should have heard of it. But like maybe it was influential and then created all these other big franchises that you then heard of. But if it still has the same root, then you don't necessarily have to see the root in order to enjoy the fruits of the tree.
Yeah,
that statement is it's the most influential game, and you never owned a Dreamcast. If you owned a Dreamcast, then everyone knows Shenmue, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just anyone that passed the Dreamcast era, no games on the Dreamcast matter, apparently.
I don't think I
that's true.
knew about Shenmue before I met you two.
Okay.
I don't think I knew about it at all.
Even did you have a Dreamcast?
Yeah.
I actually did not own a Dreamcast. I played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 at a friend's house.
Okay. I
bet they knew about Shenmue.
Possibly.
Even Jet Radio, in a way, is an influential game. Like the cell shading graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, there's always the Sega bias, right? So if we're talking of all games, Shenmue is the proper representative to be on the list. I think one of the Sonic games, maybe the 2D ones, wouldn't be off if they were here. It wouldn't surprise me to see it at number 20 or something. You were asking something, I'm sorry.
Are you saying people are biased? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Do people have biases?
Inherently biased. Everyone is.
My gosh. Wow. I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah. Shocking news. That's the most shocking news of this show. Okay. Speaking of Shenmue, let's speak more about Shenmue. So, James, once again, I turn to you to comment on
Why is James ask that question?
Because it's Shenmue. And you mentioned this before on the show, so you were part of this. You are to blame as well as other people, right?
Yep.
The original Shenmue development artwork documents were acquired in a financial effort by a few people, yourself included, and shared, right? So would you like to tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so essentially these popped up on a Japanese auction site, and me, Matt, and three other friends, we got David from SEGA, Shenmue Master, Chow and Nathan, we all sort of banded together to cough up the money to be able to get these and make sure that they end up in the right hands, that we can then preserve all of the artworks that were available here without them, just ending up on someone's shelf, never to see the light of day again, kind of thing. So very much that's what Shenmue Dojo is, mentality-wise, like a Shenmue preservation website. We try and capture any and all images that we can, and these are just insane images. I've got the folder here of like all of these original artworks that we split between all five of us. You can see there some amazing artwork, guys. Just some of it's on photographic paper. It's just stunning prints on some of them as well, like watercolors and sketches, character profiles. It just really adds to the history of Shenmue, being able to see the development progress, some of the things that they did, like these documents. Like I say, the character profiles are like order sheets. So there's some spearheading leader guy asking the character design people to create characters, and we're seeing a glimpse of like that order sheet for the first time for like Nozomi, Niao-sun, some Shenhua's character order sheets here, like before she was even created, if you know what I mean. Like it was just a text file of like what personality wants to be, what clothing she should wear, and then the character artists have gone out the way to design Shenhua, who is like now iconic to Shenmue fans. Shenhua.
Yeah.
but just a wealth of
Oh, actually,
artworks.
oh, I see here credits. Thank you so much to everyone involved in the release of this project. James Brown, Matthew Oliver.
Yeah,
That's
of
amazing.
course. That's us. But yeah, there's like over 400 images that you can go check out on the Shenmue Dojo website. It should be on there. There's a couple of news stories since this, but if you can't find it, if you just head over to the media section, scroll down to Shenmue history, and then all of the history stuff is linked within that. This is one of them. It's called the original Shenmue development artwork. Here you go, Casey showing it on the YouTube here. All of these are galleries full of images for all of the games, the animation, the history. So Shenmue design art there. You can see second row down. It'll take you to the page. These are the actual images that were on the auction site. So we've even saved those just for preservation, if you know what I mean. Yeah, go check them out, guys. If you're a Shenmue fan or Sega in general, because there's some Virtua Fighter 4 artworks in these as well, which is quite interesting. And artwork for Takarashi that apparently he was never in Virtua Fighter 4. I didn't know. I didn't realize, but there's an artwork from Virtua Fighter 4 files of him in there as well. So just so much amazing stuff. I couldn't be happy to release this. We've been working on it for ages now, but finally, I think it's in a nice, presentable format. You can definitely go check out all the galleries and enjoy, and also download them. We've made it all like as a big download. So all of these 600 DPI images that we scanned in and touched up ourselves.
That's amazing.
It's just so heartwarming to hear you talk about this, because the passion radiates through, and it's amazing.
Shenmue, that's why.
Yeah.
Anything Shenmue, it just brings us joy.
Yeah, it shows, and it's amazing.
I could talk about this all day. We need to move on, but yeah, this is really really nice. And as you actually shared with me a few days ago, this went out to or other people picked up on this, like time extension, which I know not everyone is a fan of time extension. I actually appreciate their work, and they actually shared this on the website. They share actually. They're always paying attention to the retro scene as well and stuff. So it's nice to see.
It's cool to see that
them share this, and they actually. So it was Jack Yarwood who shared this on the 8th, April 8th, and they actually linked to this on the Shenmue Dojo website.
Yeah, for sure. This sort of like happened. Like we always planned a date for this after working on it. But it kind of happened just after the BAFTA stuff, so obviously it may have got a little bit more traction otherwise.
Yeah.
But obviously, like the BAFTA stuff, there was like over 40 different media websites, like big video gaming media websites covering Shenmue at the time. So I'm just grateful, for Time Extension for picking up on that and sharing that as well, because there's some good stuff in there just for Sega fans in general, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to see the appreciation for Yu Suzuki as well, for Yu Suzuki's works. It's usually there's always a note about Yu Suzuki in there, and I know I've mentioned this a few times before, but it's usually Miyamoto is the best and stuff, and Yu Suzuki is, I think, in a way as influential or even more in some aspects, and doesn't really get the recognition he deserves. And not to speak about other like influential game developers from Japan and otherwise as well, but Yu Suzuki, we know we're Sega fans, so we appreciate his work a little bit more.
He's like a superstar in the 80s, wasn't he? 80s, early 90s. Like
if you think about everything Sega they did or he did. It's amazing. It's amazing. Great body of work. Yeah, so congrats, James, again, and thank you very much for your service. Yeah. And to everyone else.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Yeah. I mean, as a Shenmue fan, this is really, really big and important, and it really, as you said, it's
Kind of-
heartwarming, Lime. It really
It
is.
kind of rolls onto something that we can talk about later. So obviously we might get a brief mention again later, but
Yeah.
video game preservation,
Mhm,
this
mhm.
sort of stuff would have been just thrown away.
Yeah.
In fact, the seller was saying like it, he assumed it had been thrown out.
Mhm.
Not the seller, sorry, the original owner. So
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that this got into the hands of whoever it was that was selling it,
exactly.
right, it means that it wasn't being preserved. So, and that's a shame. So it's really nice that it got into the right hands, people who know the importance of this stuff and who are willing to share. So yeah, again, thank you. Okay, so now let's get into like more miscellaneous stuff. Let's like more little bits of info here. Let's go back to the BAFTAs. So do you know, Lime? Do you know
I get a
You're asking
question.
why?
which
My
game?
God.
Which game won Best Narrative at the BAFTA Games Awards?
It was Metaphor that won it. Refantasio.
Fantasio.
Game.
Metaphor Fantasio. They won Best Narrative. Wow, at this year's, I mean, I guess last year's BAFTA awards, or this year's awards concerning last year's games, I guess.
I think it was the best narrative in Game Awards too, wasn't it?
If it wasn't, it
Something, right?
was probably nominated for it as well. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
do
let me
believe
see.
it won a couple of game awards. Yes,
Yeah.
Like best
Yeah.
RPG or something.
best RPG
JRPG?
perhaps. Yeah, that's something.
Best art direction. I remember.
Okay.
But I definitely think there was.
Yeah, probably.
Best,
They
yes,
won a
yes.
couple.
Best narrative. Best art direction.
Hmm.
Was it only that?
Probably best RPG as well, right? I do believe it won. Just didn't get best game. But for many people, it was the game of 2024.
Metaphor.
It's really fantastic.
Let's see what best RPG was. Yeah.
Yes.
Best
And the
RPG.
best role playing game. Yeah.
Best RPG. Yes.
Here we are.
Yeah, as well. Okay, so congrats to Atlas, to Studio Zero, I believe, who refantasied this game, and it won Best Narrative at the BAFTAs. Good job. Moving on. More
Very much
news.
deserved.
More
It was a
news.
fun
So it's time to talk about something that we actually never talk about or discuss, which is the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch. I think it's called Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack Mega Drive or Genesis, depending on where you are. Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. I think that's what they call it. And then within the expansion pack, there's the Mega Drive games. And so that means every so often they add new games to their list of games available for people who subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. Right, and here are the April game updates. So we have Streets of Rage, which we can finally now play in co-op, Lime, using this.
Yeah.
We tried to play it before, but we realized it wasn't available. There was only Streets of Rage 2.
It's so
Surprising,
strange.
isn't it?
Yeah.
To go with 2, but not include 1. So yeah, I'm happy we got the 1.
Mm-hmm. This is my favorite, actually, of the series. Still,
I was going to say if that was a question on one of your Sega Lounge quizzes, I probably would have said that it was already out, available.
Yeah,
Streets of Rage 1, just because you would just assume it would be.
Mm-hmm. There's also Super Thunderblade. Have you guys played this? Have you guys ever played this?
No.
I played it in the arcade, actually. I played it on one of those actual moving helicopter things, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
You got one in Arcade Club. Is it Leeds? I think it's Leeds, that one.
Okay. I played the 3D Classics one, 3D Thunderblade. Remember that on the 3DS, the Classics Collection? That was one.
Yep.
That was with the 3D effect and with the cabinet as well. It was nice. We also have Eastwat City Under Siege, which I've played before, I believe, on the Mini and through emulation as well. And so those are the 3 games that are now available for you guys for everyone else, for everyone who hasn't played and who wants to try them out.
More.
Yeah. So
Give us
using
more.
the Switch Online, not the Switch 2, we'll get to that, but just the Switch Online. If you have the Switch, you don't have to pay whatever monies they are asking for to play these games, just the Switch Online subscription in your Nintendo Switch 1.
I mean, it's gonna. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be playable on Switch 2 as well. Like it's gonna.
It will be.
over.
It will be. I'm just saying you don't really need that yet. So if you
Right. Yeah.
have the original one, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Okay. Other news: Sonic Rumble. We've talked about Sonic Rumble throughout the months, the past year or so, when it was supposed to be Sonic Toy Party or whatever first, right?
Right.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Forgot about that.
And we talked about it on the show. We already know, we've learned that before. It was going to be called Sonic Rumble. It's been in some sort of like pre-launch limbo or whatever, like soft
For a
launch
while now,
limbo in some countries. Sometimes I know it's not random, but it like feels like it's like some randomly selected countries that have. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to the choices they make to where they make this available. But now it's definitely and finally coming. We got a release date, worldwide release May 8th. So that's 2 weeks from now, from when we're airing this live. So May 8th, it's a Thursday. And it's going to have a worldwide launch. And according to this little post here by Tails Channel, there will be skills. Each character will be able to make use of a set of skills. I have a particular set of skills, allowing players to customize their playstyle and approach challenges in diverse ways. With multiple skill slots available per character, players can experiment with different combinations to find a perfect fit for their preferred style. Additionally, the official global launch of Sonic Rumble will introduce crews, bringing players together to strategize and overcome obstacles as a unit. Both skills and crews will be available at launch, providing players with a rich and engaging gameplay experience from day one. So that's something that we weren't really aware of before this news got out. And they are now accepting pre-registrations. So if you go to your App Store or Steam or whatever platform you're choosing to play this on, you can pre-register. And the more people who pre-register, the more stuff unlocks, like rewards, like characters, including one that has been already unlocked, I believe, which is the Sonic 3 movie. Sonic movie skin.
Movie Sonic, yeah.
Yeah, the movie Sonic. And also Chow stickers, buddies, rings, in-game currencies.
I did look at the list of things that had been unlocked, and I think there's only one thing left that hasn't been unlocked. So I don't know if it's when I see these things approaching a launch, I always feel a little bit like they could be manipulating that sort of like, oh, we're so close. You know what I mean? When it's like literally the day of, they just meet the goal. It just feels a bit like it's very convenient, but
yeah,
like,
maybe.
You know what I mean?
You never know. You never know who to trust. So there's that.
Well, definitely pre-register.
Yeah.
Especially if you're interested, of course.
Of course. Yeah. Also, something that has been shared is that there will be crossover events, and crossover event number 0 is SEGA Stars. I have no clue if this will actually move over to the official like global launch, or if it's just like a pre-launch thing for people who have early access, like some influencers and stuff. But you have like crossover with Sega villains and Sega characters and Monkey Ball.
I want to be the wolf. The wolf seems cute.
From Altered Beast. Yeah.
Yeah, the werewolf.
Yeah. So
quite nicely designed, actually. Very cute looking.
Yeah, like it's not scary-ish. It's more like cute-ish. I like that.
Yeah, even Sonic is more like of a chibi.
Yeah. He looks a bit like
Sonic.
a toy, doesn't he? Like,
yeah,
you know how they were going for Toy Party original sort of thing. He does look like that, like something out of Clockwork Night.
So they're gonna have charades? Is that what they're?
I don't think I watched this before, and I'm just realizing the charades are what the crossover events will be.
Yeah.
So if you let's go back a little bit, because sometimes I don't pay attention. So crossover event number 1 will be this. Charade.
Yeah.
So
what does that
it's Shadow.
mean,
it's Shadow. Definitely Shadow. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Right.
Number 2.
Number 2. Tails?
I don't know, just
no,
holding the air. They're holding a hand in the air. Okay, dancing. Okay.
Somebody Mega?
Somebody Bigo. Could be Ulala. Dancing? No, I don't know. I don't know. Watch the video and find out for yourself and try to play charades with the little white dude and then see if you can find out.
Little white dude.
Little white dude. Yeah.
That was me at the start of the show.
I mean, technically you're right. It's just not what, people who do not watch the video version of this.
You don't need to watch the video version. Just listen to my description, and you know everything you need to do.
Can you rewind all the way back to the start of that video, Casey? Because there was like silhouettes of characters. Did we see all of them, or is there any secret characters in the silhouettes? So
these ones we know. So they're like
we've seen all of them. Okay,
we've seen all of them, right? Yeah,
fair enough.
Oh my gosh, like a dragon, infinite wealth from your Steam wish list is now on sale.
That's
50%.
Well. Okay, 50. Wow.
Yeah. Breaking. This is just in.
Exactly. This just in. Okay, so Sonic Rumble. Guys, we were talking actually earlier, and we might do something special to celebrate the launch of Sonic Rumble. Right,
yeah, since it's a Thursday,
since it comes out on a Thursday, maybe we'll do something. We'll do something live on stream for our valuable listeners, our valued listeners, and our video audience as well. So stay tuned for news on that very, very soon, a couple of weeks from now. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Anything else to add about Sonic Rumble, by the way, guys?
No,
I just want to underline that we got to play this together.
Yeah, for sure.
Play it together. Definitely.
Agreed. Let's do that. Okay, now we have a couple of movie/TV show news. So first of all is the news that, and why not, Outrun's getting a movie.
Why not?
Why not? Everything's getting a movie, so why not Outrun as well, right? James, you actually brought this to my attention first. With there was an article on Deadline.com about Michael Bay and Sydney Sweeney.
That's the one,
working on an Outrun video game. I thought she was playing the blonde girl next to you while you drive the Ferrari, but apparently she's just a producer, apparently, according to this news article.
Apparently she's really into cars as well. I found out recently. I guess Ferraris, and it's part of her idea is this franchise Outrun, turn it into a movie. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Okay.
It feels like every news show that we do, we're talking about a new SEGA movie, doesn't it? Which, it's mad, but I mean, with Michael Bay behind an Outrun, it's going to be pretty exciting. Maybe like are they trying to? I mean, it is a catchy name. To be fair, Outrun. Like you don't really need to play the games for it to sort of stand out in a movie theater, is it? Especially how big and popular the Fast and Furious franchises are. Those films always do well, even all the bad ones, which is like half of them, right? So Outrun, quite a catchy name. People love big fast cars, Ferraris and stuff. So it probably there isn't much of a premise to begin with, is there? I think
that's
even
what I was gonna ask. Is there a story at all in the game?
No, I think
You
even
have
on the
to
box,
drive.
yeah, just drive fast.
Just drive fast.
I'm pretty sure.
What is it that they're trying to outrun?
Themselves, their fears, their demons.
Okay.
It could be anything. I guess you have rivals that you're racing, right? I guess you have a girlfriend next to you, so maybe you can probably
in a movie.
Yeah, in a video game. So maybe
voiced
that's
by
the
Lisa
story.
Wilkerson. Maybe
Sorry,
she's in it. Voiced by Lisa Wilkerson in Outrun 2 anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be girls in this movie? Is that what you're saying?
There's going to be girls. There's going to be a fat dude with a black and white checkered flag called Flagman. And that's the premise. Maybe he's been kidnapped and you have to race as a car. I don't know. I'm afraid this is going to be like the Need for Speed movie.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Do you remember the plot of the Need for Speed movie?
I didn't see it, to be honest.
Exactly. Perfect.
I think that I saw a movie where they stole cars, possibly.
Was that like 90 Seconds with Nicolas Cage? I like that one. And Angelina Jolie.
That might have been it. Yeah, I might be thinking about that.
That one I liked, actually.
My gosh, I'm really mixing up my car movies.
Yeah, maybe. That's an old one, though. But yeah.
Well, originally, Outrun was based off of a film, right, called Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So essentially, it's come around full circle. There's like been a film that was converted to a game that's been converted to a movie. So whatever the premise of Cannonball Run was, maybe that's what we're going to get, like a Cannonball remastered special edition.
it's that's it. So there's a cannonball, and let's see if your car is fast enough to outrun a cannonball. Oh, by the way, the film was not called 90 Seconds. It was called Gone in 60 Seconds. I was just checking because I think it's gone in something. Oh, gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, and I got what you meant, and like I've definitely seen that movie. So,
yeah. That's
whatever
like
the name
classic.
of it is.
What's interesting about this, by the way, is that Sega of Japan have actually shared the news on their website, and they don't share anything in terms of like details, but they share that there's going to be a movie. I should have showed the translated version, but there we go. And as you can see, here are the characters: Flagman, the man on the with the red shirt and the flag, lead character and lead female character, and a car with a horsey. Because they won't pay to license Ferrari, so it's going to be a car with a horsey.
It'll be a Ferrari in the film, though, right? And they'll outrun the movie. Michael Bay's going to blow it up. Maybe?
Yeah, unless it's a big crossover between Outrun and Transformers.
All right,
it's actually Optimus Prime.
Maybe it's going to be Megan Fox then, is it?
Okay, exactly.
It is a little strange that they choose a game with no story at all and then make a movie out of it. Like, what are you actually borrowing from the game franchise when you make a movie out of it? Like,
the name and the red car.
Yeah, and like, what's the point of that? Like, it's not gonna have anything. Like, it's gonna have cars.
I know
So,
what
like,
the point of it
why would you
is.
need a franchise to make a car movie that doesn't have a story? You're gonna make up a story anyway. So it's probably just to, I mean, surf on its popularity, probably.
I know what it is. They're worried Michael Bay would destroy the story of whatever game with the story they threw at him. So
So
let's
then it
just
doesn't
give him
matter
one
if they
without a
choose to run.
story, so he can't ruin everything or anything actually. So yeah, that's it.
Maybe they're just piggybacking off of video game films are doing really well. So
Of
it
course.
doesn't necessarily have to be like its own film called like Run Out, the blue car. They're just very lightly adapting a video game, but they can call it like the latest video game blockbuster.
The movie In Run.
But then if it's run out, the question will be again, what are they running out of? Time? Gas? If they're in running, why are they in running?
Money.
So
If they run inning, why are they doing that?
where are they running in? Are they
What's
running
the
into
deal
each
with
other?
all of this in running?
What's the deal with it? That's a very nice Seinfeld impression there.
Yeah.
Good job. Our Swedish Seinfeld there. Do 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 do. Okay, Tweety over on the RadioSEGA Discord says, "Watch out, the Fast and the Furious. Michael Bay is going to outrun the competition."
Oh, but
Nice.
And Purvis
It'd be cool
asks,
if
"Is there even a plot beyond win the race in Outrun?" No, like we just said, no. It's just that. And in Outrun 2, I guess in Outrun 2, you have to please your girlfriend, right? The was it called the heart mode?
Heart meter, yeah.
Heart, yeah.
Heart mode.
What?
Yeah, girlfriend says,
What?
don't crash. And if you crash, what are you doing? What are you doing? Very annoying.
Oh, wow.
But if
drive close to other cars and in the slipstream, don't you?
Yeah.
Hearts.
Yeah.
She's impressed.
There are some challenges. So she's only your girlfriend if you are able to drive fast. So it's out of interest. It's not out of love. It's a shame. Anyway, moving on. More news about movies/TV shows. Apparently, and no one saw this coming. This is very surprising. Paramount is developing Sonic movie spin-offs. So surprising. So apparently Sonic movies are doing well and they're thinking of making more money out of it. Who would have thought about that? Yeah.
I would be surprised if they don't. Like if they make a Knuckles series, like they're gonna have to think about making a Shadow something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it makes all of the sense to do that. I don't know how official this is. Like this is like a rumor, surely.
Apparently,
but
yes.
Yeah.
Knuckles
but like,
season 2?
Yeah, so Shadow spin-off and Knuckles season 2 are being considered or were being considered last year.
Do you think the Knuckles season 2 is still being considered then? Like after last year?
Maybe it was successful.
Maybe so.
I know people who loved it. Like it really wasn't anything for me. I love the first 2 episodes, but then it just really spiraled into something that
I need to fit. I still need to finish it.
You didn't finish it?
No.
See, I enjoyed it, but obviously wasn't really very Knucklesy.
Yeah. That's my main issue with it. It's not about Knuckles, is it? Like, if I were to think about, this is a series specifically about Knuckles, like, what do I expect from that? I expect to maybe learn a little bit more about Knuckles' background. What do I expect the climax of the whole series to be? Not a bowling tournament.
You'd expect something to do with like Angel Island or the Master of Gold or something
like that.
Higher stakes, right?
Not Wade.
Wade Whipple.
Is that his surname? Whipple.
Yeah, but I think this surprises no one because obviously they really want to bank on this and keep milking the cow as much as they can, as long as these projects are fun, right?
Yeah, indeed.
There's no harm in that.
Yeah, and they definitely were. I mean, I know people who absolutely love the Knuckles series for its the silliness, and like especially love the episodes like the episode that I especially hated. But overall, like I did still have fun with it, even though it wasn't really what I wanted to see in a series like that. So like there's a difference there between like enjoying it for what it is and feeling like this should have been something else.
Yeah,
You'd expect the Shadow series to be like a lot more serious, wouldn't you? You wouldn't expect like a silly Shadow series with like, Maria in a frisbee tournament or something like that.
If that ends, like if the climax of that spin-off is like a mini golf tournament, I'm gonna know.
You're done.
Know.
You're like, I'm done. I'm done with this.
But I would love to see more background about this version of Shadow, for example.
It's probably set in the past, right? Because I'm guessing they will leave whatever is happening with Shadow in the present day, right after Sonic 3. They will leave that for the movies because they probably don't want to spoil that until maybe Sonic 4 or even 5, I don't know, comes out. Maybe they'll leave Shadow out of 4 and maybe make him come back in the next one. I don't know.
It's nice if it was like evolved on the Maria sort of relationship, when they were younger.
Yeah, I would love to see more about that. Yeah.
Because obviously they're not going to get Jim Carrey for a little TV show, are they? That's not going to happen. So we're not going to get like any Ivo stuff.
But,
Gerald,
we're definitely gonna have to cut out Gerald in that case.
Yeah, probably could be set in like a weekend where they are aboard the Ark and they get stuck somewhere or whatever, and they can make it work. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So that's all we have for movie/TV shows news for now. We'll see what happens next month. Actually, we should actually skip the next one for now and mention the other one. Mention what is on our list, number 15, because it's sort of movie related, right?
Yeah.
So Shadow related, yeah.
Shadow related. Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings won a Webby Award.
Yeah, so much deserved. It was an amazing entry. It was I loved it so much.
And they set up the Shadow Generations part of the game quite nicely with this little web series.
Yeah, so like thank you, like for bringing my Shadow back. I really feel like they are making Shadow justice again. And I feel like they haven't for a while, but now here is a Shadow that I recognize that has
badass.
Has a heart, has a purpose. Like you can feel with, you can relate to that. I can't really find the words for it, but like I can relate a lot more stuff, right? To this Shadow is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. You feel for Shadow.
Yeah, I'm still singing like the theme from the last episode. So definitely the story touched me.
Nice. So congrats to the team for this, and what a great way it was to set up what happens in Shadow Generations. Still my favorite part, I think everyone's favorite part from Sonic X Shadow Generations obviously, was Shadow Generations, and this was a very good way to set it up. So good job for on winning this award and for putting this much hard work into this little 3-part series. 3-part, right?
Did I tell you? Like, I was on my way home from a store like for some months ago, and I saw a dad with 2 little kids wearing shadow onesie each.
Nice.
It was amazing. It was so cute. It was a tiny little shadows.
Nice. Yeah.
It was amazing.
And that's what you get when you make good stuff with these characters, right?
Indeed.
True.
Yeah.
A character from 20 years ago is now loved by the next generation of people.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Okay, so that's good news, and we always love good news here on the Sega Lounge. What might be good news or not, depending on your stance on the company that we're going to mention next, is that this month's release, or not release because they're still accepting pre-orders, but this month's focus over at Limited Run Games is, drum roll please,
Everyone's favorite
Rocket.
Yes.
Yeah. And so last month was Crazy Taxi. This month, the Dreamcast series is Choo Choo Rocket, with the usual trading cards, the usual coin, the usual T-shirt, the usual keychain, I believe. There are a couple of plushies apparently. Oh no, okay. This is Rocket Knight. This is not related. So the plushies are still available, obviously, because they're accepting pre-orders, so these things don't sell out. There's a cap, a hoodie, T-shirt, and the usual trading card stuff. Yeah,
I like it. It's pretty
I
cool.
like these ones. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think we've ever had any Choo Choo Rocket merchandise that I'm aware of. So, I think I might have seen like a promotional T-shirt.
I have a T-shirt for the
mobile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that. Maybe I've seen yours then, Casey. Yeah, that's great. But in terms of just general public sale stuff, this is probably the first since the game's release. I picked up the plushies, the trading card thing, and the coin. I've kind of been just maintaining that. Each set that Limited Run Games release, I'm at least getting the trading card special thing and the coin. And then if anything else takes my fancy, like here, the plushies are kind of, maybe I didn't need the plushies, but everyone needs the plushies, don't they? So
these ones are cool, right? Yeah,
they are cool. The cat and the mouse, obviously. But yeah, again, it's just stuff that you perhaps wouldn't have ever expected to see or to own, like a plush for 2 characters from a Choo Choo Rocket game that's long forgotten now. So it's nice. I get people's gripes with Limited Run Games, but again, I've probably said this in the past, but everything I've ordered, I've received. It's not like I've never received anything that I've ordered, and it's always been acceptable quality for me. I've not picked up anything that's got like a burnt CDR or anything like that. Everything I bought, so I can only go off my own experiences, has been pretty cool.
Same. Yeah. My only concern now is with the tariffs, the new tariffs, and how they might affect the actual prices. I mean, you're paying up front, but I wonder if there will be like extra customs taxes or something.
Maybe for you, but I know
maybe for me,
at least in the UK, they've got their own warehouse in the UK now, so that's quite convenient. So the shipping costs for me now have gone from like, I was paying like $25 at some point for shipping costs back in the day, but now they're like $5, barely anything. So that's one good positive for UK based people.
Yeah,
yourself, Casey. Yeah, you could be hit by.
Yeah, I'm reconsidering my stance on this based on recent news and fear of being taxed even higher when things actually ship. I'm guessing if they ship everything together, that will be a problem because that's going to be a hard month. If everything, all these Dreamcast things that ship out at the same time.
Luckily they are. And if you look at your pre-order lists, it'll say like the Shenmue stuff's supposed to be coming, I think, next month.
Oh yeah, it's different months for everything.
Some stuff June, some stuff July.
They're spaced out. Okay,
it's like a 6-month production period, I think.
Okay, so that's it. So limited run games. If you are into this sort of thing, do check this out. So it's part of their Dreamcast 25th anniversary celebration stuff. Still,
there's loads
right?
still to go, because I think Josh did post a list at one point, and there's like, there's obscure stuff in there like Dynamite Cop. I think was listed. Shenmue 2 line to come still, so there's still a lot to look forward to.
Yep, for sure. Okay, moving on. We have 2 more things to talk about, so let's move on. And I want to pick your brains a little bit about this next bit. So you also shared this with me, James, and thank you for that. There's been like a conference, and it's also like a sort of a joint project between specific game companies in Japan to preserve video game assets. So to preserve and archive historical video game development materials and assets, as it says on the tweet. And this links to an article where, and I'll share that in a little bit. And this article actually shows what the conference, or what was shared during this conference. So people from different companies like Capcom, Taito, Sega, they shared Square Enix. They shared what they have been doing in-house to restore, preserve, archive stuff from old games that has historical significance, and how there's this new project to like from Japanese companies to come together and preserve their history, which is also something that they there's a word that's always repeated in all these presentations, which is pride. To take pride in the history that they've been building together as different companies in Japan. Right?
If there was one thing that I would definitely create a SEGA account for, it is if it gave me access to retro games. Like they have like a pool of games that they preserved and they're playable through that, then heck yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This stuff, it means a lot to a lot of people that have grown up with these games in the past. Maybe at the time they didn't really realize the significance of these games that they were creating, what would happen like 20 to 30 years down the line. So like in the case of Shenmue, for instance, like I say, expected these things would have been thrown away, which is such a shame that you got all this amazing artwork that they spent time creating and designing, and it doesn't even get to be viewed by the general public that have enjoyed their products so much so that we're still campaigning 25 years later for more from that series. So it's amazing. If you look at the photographs on this website, you can kind of see some of the crazy storage solutions they've got going from back in the day. These are boxes piled on boxes. That one, it's scary, really, isn't it? Because you don't know what's in some of these boxes, like at the bottom being squashed. Could there be some more Shenmue files in some of those boxes? And you'd have thought, again, obviously they don't think at the time how special this stuff is, but you would have thought and expected them to preserve this stuff somewhere better than just a closet or whatever they've got stacked boxes. You'd have thought like artworks that people have hand drawn, designed, and old demo builds, discs, cassette tapes I've seen, and some of them, you would have thought they would have had solutions for those. We've all heard of like the Sega archives or the Sega Vault or whatever, but if the vault looks like that, like a closet with boxes, it's it's no wonder that people like Danny Russell, when he was going through all the stuff for Sega Forever, was having such a hard time coming to terms with a lot of the things that hadn't been preserved, and he was preserving a lot of these artworks and stuff like that that would never have seen the light of day. And I remember him saying he had like a stack of CDRs or something, and he accidentally, or they were in those plastic wallet sleeves, and he accidentally didn't realize that taking one out, because it had been so long and probably like moisture had got in there, the data actually peeled off onto the plastic sleeve. So that particular disc that he tried getting out, probably is the first time that he was pulling a disc out, was kind of ruined. So it just shows you like the storage and the preservation previously has not been there. So it's really nice to be able to see these companies coming together and actively wanting to preserve video game history. I mean, it's nice in the sense that they have kept some of the stuff from back in the day. You see some nice artwork of Ryu from Street Fighter. So there is things that have been preserved quite nicely, and obviously they're trying the best to scan them in and bring them up to today's standards, I guess, by sort of similar thing that we were doing. Now there was like, photocopy dust and all that sort of stuff that we sort of hand took out ourselves. It looks like they're going to do that, and maybe like up some of the colors. If I think I was reading this article and it was saying like they also intend to like recolor some
I think
things that may have lost.
Street Fighter ones, I believe they mentioned that. Yeah, I believe.
And then, as you can see from some of the other screenshots as well, they're then using what they've got to create like bonus contents in games. So we've seen it with like this. Keep going about Street Fighter, but like the Street Fighter collection's got like a gallery with artworks from all the different games. I think Taito Museum has like scanned in documents, manuals of original development things that you can sort of view on your Switch, within the game. Atari 40 was a great one.
50,
Loads of
50, yeah.
Is it Atari 50 now? Yeah.
Yeah.
It had loads of preserved things. So it's nice to see video game companies actively wanting to preserve history like that.
Yeah. And this is what you were mentioning, the color adjustment and touch-ups. They digitize and then they touch up the assets so they are properly preserved as they should be. This is and it's nice to see that they've been individually doing this, but also coming together to make sure there's like a concerted effort in preserving these assets and making sure that, and also making sure that they are shared with the fans, which is nice, right? I do hope that the SEGA Accounts project somewhat ties into this, in like sharing more of Sega's history. I do believe what you said, Lime, is going to happen, because they like interrupted their other services like of retro games. So I do believe there will be something related to retro games somewhat. So yeah.
Sega's subscription platform thing. Yeah.
Probably. You're going to have to pay for it, but yeah.
I mean, for a pool of preserved Sega retro games, like I would buy a subscription for that.
Yeah,
we would definitely. Yeah, the Sega preservation aspect of that document was quite interesting, because it sounds like they've kept, I don't know how many they've got, but arcade machines apparently from Sega's history. I don't know if they've got one of every single arcade machine that they've ever made, or they sort of just got a hand selection, but apparently they take them to gaming events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there is a warehouse, an internal warehouse, it says there, where they're sort of maintaining the integrity of a lot of their classic arcade machines, which is nice to see.
And they mentioned more than just arcade machines. They mentioned slot machines, jukeboxes, electromechanical games, right? So, because Sega has a long history of not just like proper video games, but other types of entertainment. It
deserves a building, like a museum that you can actually visit. If it was in Japan, like a Sega museum, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
I know there's a Nintendo one. I don't know if that has been built yet. They were working on a Nintendo museum.
It has been built, but it's also been criticized as to how they do it, how they did it, because it's not really... It's less focused on sharing the history of Nintendo, I believe, and more like showcasing like having like interactive fun experiences. I think there are like some sort of like giant controllers that people can play games on together, which is like fun, but it would be nice. People are, I think, are complaining that they don't really unveil much about their past and like the people behind the games and the history, the stories, the little stories behind the games, which is what things like Atari 50 and the I think it's the Goldmaster series from Digital Eclipse they're doing. They're releasing older games, or like for Tetris they did a release of like many versions of Tetris, and there's also like an interactive museum at the same time, like little tidbits of information about the making of the games and the little stories. And that's, I think, what makes it more interesting, at least for me as a gaming fan. And if we're taking this into the Sega side, as a Sega fan, I would be very interested in knowing more about how these games got made and what challenges they faced, what little funny stories and anecdotes there are. So
Definitely. Yeah.
that's what I hope
What
they
about
can do with that.
Is there any instance of like, if you bought a DVD, you could watch a movie with commentary, like director's commentary? Is there any instance of the same thing but with a game?
I believe Atari 50 and like Tetris Forever, I think it's called, and the Gold Master series from Digital Eclipse has that. There's interviews, bits of interviews. So you like, it's like an interactive museum in a way. You listen to a little bit of an interview, then you play a little bit of a game, then this happened, and you play a little bit of a game again and stuff. So it's like you can obviously play the games themselves, just the games, and I think you can actually access the interviews and the photos and stuff individually as well. But if you the intended way to play is like playing a little bit, listening to something, or watching a little video, or learning something new and playing this little bit of another game and stuff. So
Atari 50 was perfect for that because it is like that. It's like a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like level one is this documentary, and then you move over to the next thing, and then it's like some artworks, and then coming off the artwork is get to play the game. So you've learnt about the game and the history, and then you get to play it and experience it, and then it moves on to the next section. It's really cool how they've designed Atari 50. Yeah. Actually, that is one game that I would recommend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that's like the gold standard right now. That's what companies should be trying to achieve when they release collections and go back to like older games, because it makes it more interesting. Sometimes games didn't age that well, but learning like about the challenges that the developers faced when creating like those very simple now Atari games, knowing what they struggled with and what they accomplished, maybe it makes you appreciate the game a little bit more.
Definitely makes you appreciate them more, because if they just slapped like Atari 50, if they just slapped 20 Atari games on a collection, you probably wouldn't play half of them. But because they've got all this additional context and stuff, any child playing that, learning about video game history, has the context to go with the game there, and you appreciate the game even more, even if it's just like, a square with a ball pinging around like Pong. You perhaps don't understand like what that actually did to video games forever because of that. That's is why it's it was in that influential list, right?
Yes,
Pong.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see that somehow in some time from Sega. Yeah, definitely, that would
be
nice.
Cool, wouldn't it?
That would be very, very cool. Yeah. But thank you. So all the links all the news we've been talking about, we'll share the links in the show notes and in the description of the video version. So do check them out if you're interested to learn more about this as well. And as we know more about this project, we'll definitely talk about it on the show as well in the coming months. Okay, so that's our final, or this now is the final bit of news, and it's related to the Switch 2. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. So the Switch 2 has been announced.
Switch 2 isn't even out yet. How could there be news about it?
So we're going into the future.
My God.
Future. the Switch 2 has been announced, releasing on June 5th for a lot of money. And Sega is on board with some release titles, some launch date titles, and some not launch date titles, but close. And so they have announced so far these 5 games. I was just looking at the next tweet that I see here, and I was chuckling a little bit. So they announced Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Day 1, I believe. Raiden Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. I believe it's not Day 1. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, it's a launch date title. Sonic X Shadow Generations is also a launch date title. And 2 Point Museum, I don't think it is, but it's probably very close to it as well. So at least 3 launch date titles, and 2 more have been already confirmed to be coming to the Switch 2. And obviously, the next tweet is from Shenmue Dojo. Shenmue 1 and 2 on Switch. Imagine how fun it would be to play Lucky Hit on a long journey.
They're not wrong, are they?
Yes. Whoever they are, they're right.
Whoever they are, they're not
Whoever
wrong.
they are. Yeah. So I wanted to, first of all, get your guys' opinion about the Switch 2 briefly, and what we've learned so far.
I'm not too fussed at the moment, to be honest. To be fair, someone did mention, and it kind of persuaded me to hold off on the Switch 2 because in Japan it's actually cheaper if you buy it within Japan. So I don't know if it's like because it's manufactured there, there's like all these, maybe it's cheaper to build there, I don't know.
It's region locked, though.
Region locked.
I think there will be 2 versions. The cheaper one is region locked, and the other one is like the same price, I believe. Or maybe the difference is not that big, but they have a cheaper model that is region locked. I learned about that and thought it was, I don't know, silly in a way, but in some way maybe it makes sense.
It's quite silly actually, because what isn't just a coding situation that it's region locked anyway. It's kind of like a DVD player. Like there's probably a workaround to unlock the regionness on it. It's not really like an expense, if you know what I mean. It's not like it's an extra
what's their angle here? What are they not spending or saving money on by releasing a region lock? Do people import games that much in Japan from other countries? I don't think so. I think it's more the other way around.
It's a bizarre one, but like I say, that was what I was thinking of doing, picking up that cheaper model. If it's region locked, though, I probably can't play any of the Switch games that I already own. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find that out. But other than that, there's nothing really at launch. Even those 5 SEGA titles, there's nothing really there that grips me that I'd want to spend that amount of money on a new console at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really play my Switch 1 too often. Anyway, so.
What about you, Lime? Thoughts?
I gotta have it.
Okay, that was simple.
I mean,
straight to the point. Okay,
I'm very excited for it. I've already pre-ordered the bundle with Mario Kart World. I'm very excited to try that, and I mean it has like bigger Joy-Cons, which I definitely feel is like thank you. That was definitely needed. And like they have some interesting ideas there, like with the mouse Joy-Con. I'm very curious about how that would feel to use, and that's definitely one of the things that I've been thinking is one of the downsides of a console that I definitely feel it's a lot easier to play a first-person shooter game with a mouse than with a joystick. And now they have that on a console. And so I think it's a very interesting move there by them. So
you could have a mouse on the Dreamcast.
That's true.
Yeah.
Could you use it for first-person shooter games?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in between you two. I'm excited-ish. The price is definitely something that, not that and we're gonna have a special show next week. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. We're gonna go more into detail on that, but and I actually mentioned that because we've already recorded the show. It's not that I don't have the money, because I was already like putting money
Because
aside for this,
it's
because I
not
was
the money.
expecting
I mean,
this.
I've
No,
got
no,
money. I don't want you to think that I don't have money, because
made
I've
of
got
money. I'm made of money.
So
No, it's not like
yeah.
not like, oh, I need to spend all this money now. No, I had been putting the money aside for a few months because I knew it was coming, and I was excited about it. Maybe I wasn't expecting it to be this expensive. It's not that I don't get it. I don't think it's fully justified. In a way, it is, from what they've announced already. Also, current like economic situation also explains a
Yeah,
little bit
indeed.
of
I was gonna mention
it.
that I do wonder, like justifying for inflation since the first Switch, I do wonder what the price would be then.
Yeah, 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 and it's more powerful when compared to current, even like the comparison of the original Switch with the then newer and more powerful other systems like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. I think there was more of a difference in terms of power between the original Switch and the other systems and this new one, and maybe let's say the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So the Switch
Oh,
2
hold
has
on.
more like there's less of a difference. Maybe I complicated this
I
too much.
kind of get what you're saying. Yeah, it's
I
closer
think
to
that it's closer
the
to
newer systems
like
than
the
the
newer
original was.
systems. Yeah, than the original. So I kind of feel like it's a little bit more justified. It's more expensive. I wasn't expecting it to be 300 currencies, whatever it was, euros or dollars or pounds or whatever. So the fact that it's priced like this makes a little bit of sense. It's still a bit too much, though. For it, I especially think it's going to be too much for the average
It's
person.
kind of a lot when you include all of the accessories and the games that they kind of also sort of suggest that you not necessarily need. Like, you don't need the camera, but if you add on the camera, if you add on another Joy-Con, I think Joy-Cons are like $90 or
Yeah,
£90,
and like the
even
Pro
maybe in the
controller
UK, so.
is like 80 or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
And plus, they have this game. I forget the name of it, but it's like a game that shows off the different
Oh yeah,
functionalities of Switch 2, and it's a paid game.
yeah,
It's expensive as
that's
well.
very
Like,
silly.
it
Very
should
silly.
definitely be free. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Also, I think I said justifying for inflation. I don't think that's the term. I think it's adjusting for inflation.
Adjusted.
I just wanted to
adjusted.
correct myself there.
Okay.
Sometimes I think about one word, but my mouth says another, and I don't even notice I do that at the time.
That's
Yeah.
usually what happens.
We're all
with everyone.
the same with that. I
Yeah.
do that a lot.
I'm guessing something that might happen is what happened with the 3DS. If you got the 3DS, the original 3DS model, close to launch, even not launch date, like close, like within the first year or something, you were automatically enrolled into the ambassador program. I actually got that. So I got the 3DS close to launch date, and it was, people were complaining about the price. So Nintendo lowered the price a year into it, I think. And then people who had purchased the launch date model with the original price, they enrolled them automatically into an ambassador program, and they got a load of, I think, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games digitally for free. That's actually how I played some of the older Zelda games for the first time, and what actually helped getting me into the Zelda franchise, which I now enjoy very much. And then later I got Ocarina of Time 3D and stuff. But because of that ambassador program, you got
more money from
as
you.
a way to as a way to say sorry for charging you too much for the 3DS. Maybe we weren't thinking right. You got some free games, so maybe that'll happen in the future if people really do not buy it. But apparently in Japan, it's already like they already said that pre-orders, they will not be able to fulfill all the pre-orders they're getting from their website. I think so.
I remember seeing one of the Treehouse broadcasts from Nintendo, like where they showed off more about Switch 2 and about their games after the initial reveal. And the chat, like,
drop the price.
Spammed, yes, make this free, make this free, make this free. Especially when they talked about that game, which I still forget the name of. Like it was continuous spam from so many different people. The chat was full of that one demand. There's some pressure.
Yeah, but
I agree. A kind of game like that should be free.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. That's the one thing. And even I don't know if it's like if Mario Kart World is worth the $80 they're asking for it. Although if you get it bundled with the console, it's just 50. So I guess that's a good price point. But even then, but I do get most people, as I said, I think most people will not understand the price increase when compared to the original Switch. They will not understand how some games at least will be more expensive on the Switch 2. There are some decisions that they've made that are hard to justify as well. But I think like hardcore gamers will get on it. I'm considering it. So as I said, it's more of like a moral choice of should I drop this much cash on it first day one or not?
Yeah, I think they know they're going to get away with it.
Obviously,
because they've got such a massive install base with the original Switch that are dying for new hardware. So I think people.
Yeah, like
you want to know what I'm most excited about in terms of like games, like so. And I'm saying this, and as I'm going to mention again on next week's episode, I'll probably get it day one. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I'm sure
I'll pre-ordered it.
I will. But the games I'm most excited about are actually Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Nice.
Really? Have you not played that before?
I have. To death, and I'm still excited. Those are the games that I'm most excited about.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Two of my favorite games of all time, to be honest. Yeah. And as a Shenmue fan, I'm gonna die on this hill. Breath of the Wild is and Tears of the Kingdom, and I think especially Breath of the Wild is the closest thing to inhabiting a living, breathing world that we ever got since Shenmue 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
With people doing their own things and they're having their own routines. So I do compare these games with the Shenmue series a bit.
Would you say influenced Breath of the Wild?
Why not? And even I think Breath of the Wild influenced many games as well.
True.
After 2017, I believe that's a game that should be on the list as well. But okay.
Talking about a game where it's a world and people have like their own lives and their own schedules. What about Majora's Mask?
That's true. Yeah. Very true.
That was definitely groundbreaking, I feel, at that time. Like, sure, like in Ocarina of Time, people have like their own lives, but they definitely didn't have their own schedules in that way.
It's much more simplistic.
Yeah. This is like real, like in that time, you're right. You are at that point. Like they really have jobs that they go to. And it's,
that's true. Cool. That's very true. Very true. Never thought about that. Yeah. Good point. So yeah, out of these Sega games that have been announced, I'm kind of excited about Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Although I know it's going to be launching on Switch 2 first, but it's going to come to other platforms. So yeah, I actually wanted to try 2-Point Museum on the Switch 2 because the mouse controls. I'm holding off on 2-Point Museum because of this. I think this will be the place to play it and to be able to take it with me everywhere. Yeah.
I'm not sure how portable that feature would be though, because like we've all had we all had a mouse and like tried to use it on surfaces and it just like doesn't work. Like if you play in bed, it would like maybe not be the best.
On the bed sheets.
Yeah. So I do wonder if that would be a problem. It's a fun mechanic, but I do wonder how portable it is.
If you go like on holiday somewhere and you only take your Switch with you, your Switch 2, and you set it on a table and use the Joy-Con on the table, you're fine. So
yeah, definitely.
And you don't. And it's more of like if you think
on
about
the plane, probably not.
Like a tray
thing, yeah.
Yeah, the tray thing.
Yeah, but like, does that have the size that you would need for like a first-person shooter?
I mean, how much? Why does it have to be? I mean, if you're like you're shooting with style, you're like like a posh.
Maybe if they just brought
shooter.
like a tray of food, perhaps you wouldn't have enough room.
Yeah,
I'm just saying size matters in this case,
but not with food on. Obviously, just the tray. The tray is free of things, and you just put your Switch. But as I said, you should be like a stylish, posh assassin. So you don't need to like move around your arms like that. That's not the proper way to do it. So
you don't you ever tell me how to play my games?
Move like this. Shoot.
Have we actually seen people using the mouse thing? It can't be like you can't do it in the air, for example.
No,
I don't think so. You can do it on your legs, on your hand. Right. I believe so. Yeah. They said that. Yeah, but it remains to be seen. Like you, it actually is a good concern how accurate it will be if you're not using like a proper flat surface.
Yeah.
And if you don't have enough room to move your Joy-Con around, that's actually a proper.
I do enjoy. I do love that they included it. They have some interesting uses, like with the wheel basketball game that they showed. Like you have two of the mouse things, and you pull yourself forward by actually like moving the two mice that way.
That's very hard to do.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so like it's a very interesting idea, and I do appreciate being able to play first person shooter games like that way. And it's going to be interesting to test and see how it holds up.
Yeah, definitely. So for Sega fans, apparently Sega is, as usual, supporting this new console, this new Switch. And so you're going to have Sega support from day one. So look forward to that if you're also looking forward to the Switch too. And guys, that's all the time we have for this week's episode. Thank you very much for joining me for this news roundup for April 2025. As I said before, all the links will be in the show notes / description if you're watching on YouTube. Do especially check out the Shenmue Dojo link to check out all the amazing artwork that these beautiful people have digitized and made available to the public. Check out that preservation project link as well and learn more about that, which is, I think, very, very interesting. And do let us know, are you planning on getting a Switch 2 on launch? Are you planning to save your hard-earned money to buy food instead? Which is very important.
I'm trying to get another job, first of all.
That's also very important.
Like having a job is also kind of useful.
That's kind of useful. Yeah. But games, games.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I pre-ordered it still. I'm like, I am going to own it. I am going to have it. I don't care.
you are part of the problem. Yes, that's what you're saying.
Wow.
You are part of the problem. Okay.
Wow.
But yeah. So do let us know if you have any comments on anything that we talked about
And also,
today.
do let us know if I am actually a part of the problem.
Yeah, do let us know. See, just the comment saying yes, Slime, you are. That's enough. That will suffice. Yeah. Guys, we have 2 minutes left. So very briefly, where can people find you?
Shenmue Dojo. There you go.
Okay.
Very
Yeah,
brief.
That's a good answer.
Very briefly. You can find me, shenmuedojo.com. Check out the artwork. We've recorded a few videos that are going to be releasing soon where we're actually going through the artwork. So if you want a little bit of additional commentary, maybe some of that commentary Lime said over the artworks, not we got anything to do with them, but just talking about what we're seeing, and yeah, really good stuff. A couple of podcast shows on the way as well from us, and me specifically, you can find me at Skill Gym, either on YouTube or Twitter mainly.
Excellent. Yeah.
Oh, and I picked up an ePico, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. I released
really?
a video unboxing today of the ePico. So
No, I'm gonna find that and link it as well in the show notes for people to watch it.
Hooked it up to the TV. I had to get like a step down converter, I think, because it's Japanese, obviously.
Oh.
So it works on an English electric system, whatever. And I got my daughter playing it. So we had a whale of a time.
So Oblivion was not the answer to my first question. The question was the ePico.
The ePico, I should have said that. A Sega-related game that we've been playing.
Exactly.
Disney princesses on the Sega Pico. ePico.
Is it ePico or is it Epico? I think it is. I think it's both.
Sega Epico.
Why is Epico this?
Because
Why
it's
is Epico
Italian, like
Is it? Okay.
Fantasio. I don't know.
I need to start pronouncing it as Epico, though.
Epico, the Sega Epico. That's great. Lime, where can people find you?
People can find me at Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitch mostly. The handle is Lime Reversed on all of them. I have started playing Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. And in those streams, you will see me wearing 3D glasses because I put it on my 3D TV in all of its high resolution remastered 3D glory. It is amazing to play a classic like that way. It's cool. It's very fun. So yeah,
I'm picturing you with those cardboard 3D glasses.
No. It's actually
yeah. It's not one of those.
That's what I thought when he was talking about it.
Yeah, let me show you. Actually,
but it's actually like very cool looking. Like look like sunglasses. Almost. Yeah, like sunglasses. Okay. So yeah. Cool. By the way, Purvis says you are all part of the problem. The solution is to give some of that money to me, just enough to make the switch to an unviable purchase. I'll consider that. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, actually, now they look even more futuristic. Nice.
Yeah, so like it's Tony not Stark. Like what one of those like blue red kind of things. Like you actually see real color in it. So
nice.
It's awesome. It's
cool. As I said,
this is how hot I'm going to look if you visit me on my stream. So
like I said, stylish. So it's not like you don't play like this. You're a stylish gamer. So yeah.
People don't realize why I'm wearing these. So people think like, oh, hey, wow, a cool line today. I'm like, yeah, they are 3D glasses. I'm like wearing them to see the 3D. Oh.
He's going to the 3D beach.
What a douchebag with sunglasses on in the house.
Who does this guy think he is?
On stream, yeah.
Yeah, I do recommend those streams, as I usually do all Lime streams. But yeah, those are very fun, and that's a game that I really enjoy as well. So definitely check that out. As for me, I'm always around the Sega Lounge. So next week, as I said, we're gonna focus not on the Switch 2, but on the Switch 1. And the best Sega games on the original Switch. So I'll be joined by Mr. Green Viper 8 and Mr. Dr. Scottnik. Mr. Dr. Scottnik. And they will help me choose our individual top 3 Sega games which are exclusive to the Switch, and our top 3 Sega games on the Switch that are also available on other platforms. And we'll also share some more thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you're craving for that, if you're looking for like a starter guide for Sega fans who just happen to buy an original Switch in 2025, this is the place to be, the Sega Lounge, next week. And we'll be back with that soon. I'll be back to streaming more Sonic 3 to get the rest of the retro achievements. I had a lot of fun a couple of weeks ago streaming that. And we will be streaming Sonic Rumble soon as well, a couple of weeks from now. So with these 2 guys, maybe more people will join us. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But keep it all over on the SegaLounge.com for everything lounge related. Also on all the other channels that are like down here if you're watching the video version. Also, something that I wanted to mention and shout out. I have a new video series, like a new video series of new series of short videos on YouTube, which is 30 seconds of Sega education, and it's basically questions that I usually ask
to Lime.
Yeah, it's dedicated to Lime, and also basically questions that I've asked my guests on the Sega Lounge during the Sega Lounge challenges throughout the years. So, and it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's like 30 seconds, the 30-second long videos. I release 2 every week, one on Monday, one on Thursday, I believe. And people are apparently loving them. We get much more viewers than the actual long episodes of the Sega Lounge. So if you're interested in that, check us out. YouTube, Instagram as well. I've been putting them out on that as well, and I put one on TikTok today. Just to try
maybe
see
we
what
should
happens.
start doing 30-second long podcasts.
maybe. Welcome to the Sega Lounge. Thanks
News
for watching.
Roundup.
Bye-bye.
Let's go through all the news.
Yeah. So, like, if you're the Flash, you can go through this in 30 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. Like going through it very, very quickly. Like if you want to understand this, you just have to slow down the video. Like, come on, pause if you need to. Like,
get on with the times.
Yeah, give me the times.
Yeah. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much, or listening. Thank you very much to Mr. Skill Jim, Mr. Lime Reversed. You guys are the best. Thank you for joining me. And we'll be back next week. We're off. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye.
The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, a Mixed Sound Productions podcast and part of RadioSEGA's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Find us at thesegalounge.com on Blue Sky. Check out our YouTube channel for our video content and follow us on Twitch to join our Let's Play sessions and live episodes. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com on the TerraPlayer app and wherever you listen to podcasts.